You're welcome back to the AM News. In our first story, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagwan has directed the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, to appear before Parliament over the proposed constitutional instrument. Now, the EC was represented in Parliament on Thursday by Deputy Commissioner Bosman Osari. This was opposed by the NDC MPs, prompting some disagreements as Parliament sat deep into the night. Watch Minority Leader Dr. Kasil Atufosin insisting that the chairperson herself makes an appearance.
We invited, or the subsidiary legislation suggested and proposed to the House, of which we have adopted, that the two institutions should sit together to listen to themselves and also for members to listen to the two of them to make a determination. And most importantly, for us to have an assurance from the two institutions before the CI will proceed to its lane. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission is not here. I recognize, Mr. Speaker, that the deputy is here, but it is not the same as the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. It is not the same. Mr. Speaker, most particularly, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission has consistently avoided Parliament. Consistently avoided Parliament. Mr. Speaker, our concern is a genuine concern. Mr. Speaker, in fact, we are of the view that the issues that we have raised today in this chamber since morning are serious issues that we prefer and we want the Electoral Commissioner to be here, to be the one to give us the needed assurances before we can proceed on this part. But her absence will make it very difficult for us, Mr. Speaker, to accept the deputy to be the one to give that kind of assurances.
Well, in response, Majority Leader Osei Mensah explained that the invitation sent out to the EC did not specifically request that Madam Jean Mensah herself appear before the House.
The invitation was to two institutions, and that his preference and the preference of the majority is that the two institutions should be represented by their heads. The chairperson then gave an indication that the invitation indeed was to the institutions and not to the chairs.
While Speaker Alban Bagwan says the new CI has serious implications and therefore the EC chairperson herself must come before the House.
The deputy chairperson in charge of operation is quite high enough, but he cannot be given the assurances that the chairperson will give. In the circumstances, I will be compelled to adjourn the House. We will insist that the EC be represented at the highest level, and together we'll find solutions to this. It's very, very important for the peace, the security, and the development of this nation.
Let's move on to party politics now. And flag bearer hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Alan Chemating, says a key component of his new agricultural revolution agenda is for farmers to own processing plants to process produce from their farms. He says this will not only prevent post-harvest losses, but also ensure value addition. Exportation of raw materials without adding value remains a challenge in the agri sector. In an interview with Radio Tamale on his tour of the northern region, Alan Chemating said he was the only candidate who could garner 80% of votes for the MPP in the Ashanti region while making significant impact in the Volta region.
Scores of Alan Chemating supporters singing and dancing. It was his second day in the northern region. The NPP flag bearer hopeful has been meeting important national and party stakeholders. He was at the University for Development Studies where the Vice Chancellor appealed to him to help bridge the North-South gap if he's elected. At the market in Tamale, he interacted with many market women who shared with him their challenges. He said the government is working hard to address their concerns and said if he is elected, he will do all within his power to ensure the challenges are fixed. In an interview on Radio Tamale, He said a core part of his new agricultural revolution plan is for farmers to own processing plants in their farms to ensure value addition and prevent post-harvest losses.
But also, for the first time in the history of agricultural development in our country, farmers should own their own processing facilities. If you go to some of the most advanced economies, that is the key. If you're a farmer, you have access to large acreages, you produce, and then you sell to your own processing company. That's groups of farmers. This is not the old cooperatives. This is talking about corporate enterprises, but organized on behalf of farmers, so that the issue of post-harvest losses will not arise. So everything that you produce will be processed in a factory that belongs to you. So apart from the benefit that comes to you from selling your commodity to your factory, you also get additional income from the dividends, because the real value in agriculture comes from the processing. And so it is unfair for farmers to produce and not benefit from the value chain, that is getting the real value after processing, because that's where the money is. You know, so this is what I'm talking about. And this model alone, even if we're focusing on 6 commodities, agricultural commodities, this alone can bring a transformation to us.
He says he can win 80% of votes for the party in the Ashanti region and also make significant impact in the Volta region.
You need now a leader of a party that has attraction beyond the MPP. Because it is not about the MPP's flag bearership contest. Our challenge is about the general election in 2024. Because if we want to remain in power, it's not about the flag bearership contest. It's about winning the 2024 election. So you need a person who cuts beyond, who cuts across the country, young, old, people from all ethnic backgrounds, from all religious backgrounds, and somebody who you can market to the people of Ghana. And in my very humble opinion, if you put your ears to the ground, what people are saying is that if you bring Alan, that's talking to MPP, if you bring Alan, we'll vote for MPP to remain in power. Even in the Volta region, it's the same message. They keep on saying that we are not against the NDC, the MPP. But if you bring Alan Chamating as your flag bearer, the Volta region will change. And the basic logic in politics is that you always need a candidate who can consolidate your base and optimize your votes in your stronghold, and also the same candidate being able to reduce the influence of your opponent in their stronghold. I am confident that if I become the flag bearer of our party, for the first time in the history of our party, I'll be able to garner at least 80% of the votes from Ashanti, or at least 2 million votes from there. This will put us in a poor position in the election to win the election convincingly. We cannot risk having not having the opportunity to present a leader who can guarantee maximum votes from Ashanti. And at the same time, interestingly, by the invisible hand of God, or by the grace and mercy of God, I also happen to have the capacity to influence the votes in the Volta region. And I believe strongly that by the grace of God, I'll be the first MPP flag bearer, if I'm given the opportunity to do so, to become the flag bearer, to significantly make an impact in terms of our votes in the Volta region.
Away from that, authors and publishers in Ghana have been equipped with the knowledge to handle the new Ghana Education Service curricula. Now, the beneficiaries will now be able to transfer the new standard-based curriculum knowledge into textbooks and other instructional materials for pre-tertiary schools. There's more in this report.
A newly developed curriculum for Ghanaian schools by the National Council for Curriculum and Assessments demands that learners' learning opportunities are maximized. This has necessitated a capacity and knowledge building on the new National Council for Curriculum workshop for publishers and writers of books for Ghanaian schools. The workshop will allow publishers and writers to transfer the standard-based curriculum onto textbooks and other instrumental material. John Kwesi Amponsa, the president of the Ghana National Association of Authors and Publishers, explains that training is in line with the association's commitment to keep up with the pace of modern learning and teaching.
Now, the new curriculum is different in several ways from the traditionally known curriculum, in the sense that we are dealing with a standard-based curriculum where learners are supposed to demonstrate understanding, demonstrate core values, demonstrate skills after learning. So previously we were assessing objective questions. Now we are assessing values, we are assessing skills, we are assessing international skills and competencies such as critical thinking, collaboration, digital literacy, and so on and so forth. So what this program seeks to do is to equip us first as writers or as developers of textbooks, to equip us with these knowledge and skills so that we will be able to transform these skills and knowledge into textbooks for our children to play. Now, our role is critical here as authors and publishers, in the sense that if we are not able to understand the changes in the curriculum, it will be very difficult for us to translate them into readable content material for children.
Professor Edward Appiah, the Director General of the Ghana National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, said the workshop will enable beneficiaries to transition to the standardized learning approach.
We find this necessary because, you see, we have moved from the objective base to the standard base. Now, what it means is that we need to build the capacity of writers and publishers so that they can actually transfer the vision of standard-based approach onto the learning and instructional materials. If we are not able to do that, it stands to reason that of the document that we are going to see will still take us back to the objective base. And we think that it's our responsibility as people or an agency that have been given the mandate to make sure we provide standards in assessment and curriculum to do that.
The workshop was supported by the British Council in collaboration with the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment.
And our next story, the Food and Drugs Authority is entreating small-scale prospective food producers to take advantage of the FDA's progressive licensing scheme to register their products. Speaking on behalf of the Ashanti Regional Director of the FDA, Abena Ejapoma Esiama, a principal regulatory officer, indicated that the scheme helps students enhance their entrepreneurial potential. She was speaking at the KNUST 2023 Food Festival.
The festival began with a food bazaar, which featured traditional foods and Ghanaian delicacies.
There's ginger drink, which is a mudro. There's zonko made from millets. There's tiger nut drink. There's pito. There's tamarind drink. Asana, which is popularly known as eliwonyo. There's sobolo and the soy milk. These drinks are very healthy and they prevent toxins from our system.
Here with me, you have different varieties of bread made from different tubers and other ingredients. So you have orange flesh, sweet potato flour composite bread. You have high quality cassava composite bread. You have millet bread. You have overripe plantain bread. You have bambara bread, and you have tiger nut bread. So the reason behind all of this is to increase the economic value and increase the nutritional value of bread. Also, we are concerned about the glycemic index of bread. So we are using this different products in order to step down the glycemic index of bread.
Okay, this is cupcake that we are all aware of. This cake is made from high quality cassava flour, 100%, and you use your normal procedure of preparing cake to make it. And this is not a composite, it's 100%, no composite flour at 100% high quality cassava flour, and it's possible. So those of us crying that wheat flour prices have gone high, we can use our own cassava that we are aware of to make flour.
The international community at the KNUST also featured their traditional foods to highlight the university's cultural diversity.
So here we have from Germany potato salad. So we are students from Germany and we made like a classic German potato salad dish.
An approach that has been used.
A food scientist at the Department of Food Science and Technology, Professor Dufi Rekumenu, was happy with the numerous food products churned out by the university. She, however, appealed for industrial equipment to facilitate production.
Simple technologies such as fermentation, drying, canning, freezing, and baking were used in developing these products. However, the availability of state-of-the-art technologies such as high-pressure homogenizers, raw meters, drum dryers, pasteurizers, non-thermal processing methods such as ultrasound, pulse electric field, among others, plastic-free and smart packaging could enhance research and innovative ability of our students to bring more food products to address specific needs of the consumer. We therefore call on all stakeholders to support in terms of collaborative research, sponsorship, and then industry-focused partnership to enhance what is being done currently.
The Food and Drugs Authority entreated small-scale prospective food producers to take advantage of the FDA's progressive licensing scheme to register their products. Speaking on behalf of the Ashanti Regional FDA Director, Ms. Abenaja Puma-Esiama, a principal regulatory officer, indicated that the scheme helps students enhance their entrepreneurial potential.
That scheme is for us, those of us who don't really have facilities and really don't have the money or the cash to register your products in a big way. It's for the very small industries. I won't even say cottage, they are smaller than cottage. So you come, we help you with the analysis and also the your fees. GEA, Ghana Enterprise Agency, helps you with the fees. And we register the products for you.
Members of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs have been asked to harness their skills and expertise towards the development of the region. The President of the House and Paramount Chief of the Anfoga traditional area, Togbega Tepre Hodo, who placed the Clarion Call, believes this would propel the growth of the region and enhance livelihoods. He was speaking at the induction of 10 newly installed Paramount Chiefs into the House in Ho.
10 newly installed Paramount Chiefs in the Volta region were fully inducted into the Volta Regional House of Chiefs as required by law. They have therefore had their names entered into the registry of the National House of Chiefs after taking the oath of membership, oath of secrecy, and judicial oath. The President of the House, Togbega Teprehodu, congratulated the inductees and urged them to contribute to the growth of the region.
Let us harness the varied skills and expertise that the members of this House possess towards the progress of this region. This House of Chiefs can boast of professions like lawyers, engineers, quantity surveyors, finance experts. The list is endless. I only hope and pray that we all will cooperate, collaborate, and move our regional House of Chiefs, and by extension, the Volta region forward.
Paramount Chief of Botoku, Togbega said the second, who was one of the inducted chiefs, highlighted his plans towards developing his traditional area.
I'm an energy expert. I just graduated from GIMPA, and I have been in the diaspora for some years now, and we're currently working towards bring some investors into the region to help develop the region and then Ghana as a whole. It's a new calling for us as chiefs to be able to come together as a team, to unite, and also help to bring development to our nation. And I also think that we need to be able to collaborate with the district assemblies for a better local governance.
The paramount chief of Bi traditional area, Togbega Gabusu VII, promised to run an all-inclusive administration, ensure a united kingdom, and leave behind a legacy.
When there is unity, and I'm sure that once that unity is established in the Bi traditional area, Hokwe will be good. And when I go, by the grace of God, yes, I will be known that, oh, there was once Togbega Gabusu VII. He did this, he did this, he did that. And I'm sure it will be definitely there that everybody will see.
In my traditional area is to bring all parties together, regardless, for or against. If I'm able to unite them, then I believe I'll be able to effectively lead them, which is what I intend to do. And to be an effective leader, you need to have a unified force behind you. And that is my...
The occasion also saw a display of the African culture and heritage. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News. Oh.
And that's how we cap off the news. But up next
is the newspaper review, and assisting editor Kojo Brace joins us.